You've been walking your entire life. As a child, those first steps were cheered on with wide smiles and hopeful hearts. As an adult, you moved through the world with energy and confidence, walking to work, to the store, through parks, into new chapters of life. And now, in your 70s, people tell you, just keep walking, and you'll be fine. But what they don't tell you, what no one dares to say, is that walking alone is not the answer. In fact, walking without the right awareness can quietly become the very thing that accelerates your aging, weakens your muscles, and shortens your life. This may sound shocking. How could something as natural, as harmless as walking possibly be hurting you? The truth lies not in the act itself, but in the way most people do it after 70, without guidance, without intention, and without understanding the deeper impact it has on the aging body. You see, the body you're walking in now is not the same one you had 20 years ago. Its joints are more sensitive. Its muscles are less forgiving. The way your spine carries your weight has changed. Your feet, your knees, your hips, all of them have weathered a lifetime of movement. And when you walk today the same way you did back then, without adjusting for those changes, you begin to create silent imbalances. Tiny misalignments in your posture. Repetitive pressure on already vulnerable joints. Shallow breathing that limits oxygen flow. Every step you take without correction becomes a whisper to your body, wear down faster. And your body listens. That's why it's not uncommon for someone over 70 to develop knee pain, back stiffness, foot cramps, or even fall more often, even when walking just short distances. It's not age alone doing that. It's the approach to movement that's missing something critical. Take, for instance, the most common habit among elderly walkers, short, shuffling steps. It begins with the desire to be careful, to stay safe. And that instinct is understandable. But what you may not realize is that when you shorten your stride and let your feet drag instead of lift, your posture collapses. Your back curves forward. Your shoulders hunch in. Your balance shifts away from your core and down into your knees and ankles, two joints that were never designed to carry that kind of stress on their own. Over time, the muscles in your legs begin to atrophy. Your lungs take in less air. Your digestion slows down. Your circulation becomes sluggish. This isn't a dramatic, overnight change, it's slow. Quiet. You hardly notice it. Until one day, getting up from a chair feels harder than it used to. You walk a block and feel winded. You lose confidence in your steps. You wonder, is this just age? But the truth is, it didn't have to be this way. Because there is another way to walk. A better way. A way that still honors your age, your pace, your energy, but that protects and strengthens the body you have right now. It begins with posture. Before you even take that first step, pause. Stand tall. Feel the crown of your head lift gently toward the sky. Roll your shoulders back. Let your arms hang freely. Engage your core, and not tightly, just enough to feel supported. Then, when you begin to walk, focus on lifting your knees just a little higher than usual. Let your feet roll from heel to toe, not slap the ground flat. Swing your arms in a natural rhythm. Breathe deeply, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. This isn't about speed. It's about precision. About letting every step be a signal to your body, I'm still here. I still care. I want to walk stronger, not just longer. And as you walk with that awareness, something powerful happens. Your spine starts to elongate. Your lungs fill more deeply. Your core gently reactivates. Your gait becomes smoother. Your balance improves. You stop moving like someone who's trying not to fall and start moving like someone who knows they still belong in their body. You may not be able to turn back time, but you can absolutely turn back patterns that were speeding it up. This is the beginning of transformation, not just in how you move, but in how you live. Because walking after 70 isn't just about staying active. It's about choosing to walk with care, with knowledge, with purpose. It's about realizing that your body still responds to what you give it, even now. Especially now. Every step is a conversation between your brain and your muscles. Between your heart and your lungs. Between your past and your future. So if you've been walking just to check a box on your health list, it's time to change the conversation. It's time to walk like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. And this is only the beginning. There are other mistakes just as important, just as silent, that you may be making right now. And once you see them, you'll never walk the same way again. Not out of fear, but out of newfound wisdom. Out of love for the body that's still carrying you forward, one precious step at a time. By now, you understand that walking isn't just something you do, it's something your body learns every single day. And just like any learning process, if the lesson is repeated wrong, the result becomes damaging. One of the most dangerous yet overlooked lessons we unconsciously teach our bodies after 70 is this: repetition without variation. You walk the same path, at the same speed, with the same effort, day after day, week after week. Maybe it's a lap around the garden. Maybe it's the hallway of your building or the path behind your house. It feels safe. It feels predictable. But what feels safe isn't always what keeps you alive. Because this kind of predictable repetition quietly strips your body of one of its most essential functions, adaptation. The human body, no matter how old, craves challenge. Not the kind that pushes you to exhaustion, but the kind that wakes up your nervous system. That tells your reflexes, be ready. That activates the stabilizer muscles in your ankles, your knees, your hips. But when you walk the same way every day, those systems begin to dull. They forget how to respond to new terrain. Your feet no longer grip the earth with intention. Your balance becomes reactive instead of proactive. And that's when the accidents happen. A slight slope throws you off. A bit of gravel catches your foot. A small bump in the sidewalk becomes a dangerous surprise. Not because your body can't handle it, but because you haven't trained it to. You've taught it to exist in a single, narrow pattern. And nature never intended your body to shrink into patterns. It was built to adapt. To learn. Even at 70. Even at 80. Especially then. So how do you reverse that? It's simpler than you think. You don't need to climb mountains. You don't need to hike through forests or join some fancy fitness club. You just need to introduce variation thoughtfully, safely, and consistently. If you always walk on a flat path, try a gentle incline. If you usually walk in shoes, try barefoot for a few minutes on grass or a soft surface to reawaken the tiny muscles in your feet. Change your route. Walk through a park one day and on the sidewalk the next. Step over small obstacles, a garden hose, a curb, a stick. These aren't nuisances. They're gifts. They retrain your coordination. They light up your brain. They keep your body young by keeping it alert. Because your muscles may grow older, but your nervous system can stay sharp if you give it the right signals. And speaking of the nervous system, let's talk about something even more powerful than your muscles, your mind. You see, many older adults treat walking like a chore. Something they have to do to check a box, not something they get to do with wonder. So they tune out. They stare at the ground. They let their thoughts wander aimlessly. Or worse, they distract themselves with noise, music too loud, news playing in their ears, phone calls that sap their attention. What they miss is that walking is not just a physical act, it's an opportunity to awaken the mind. To reconnect with the present. To notice the rustling of leaves, the pattern of clouds, the gentle rhythm of your own breath. This kind of walking, mindful, alive, and present, actually stimulates brain function. It increases dopamine, serotonin, and the very chemicals your body needs to reduce anxiety and keep depression at bay. Because the truth is, loneliness can be just as deadly as disease after 70. And when you walk disconnected, when your mind is adrift and your heart is closed, you are not healing, you are hiding. But when you walk with presence, when you look up and let the world in, when you say hello to the trees and the people and the sky above you, something opens inside. Your posture lifts. Your lungs deepen. Your body softens. And healing begins again, not just in your muscles, but in your emotions. This is the kind of walking that gives life, not just length. You might be thinking, but I don't have energy for all of this. And that's fair. The aging body doesn't always wake up ready to move. Some days the joints ache. Some days the heart feels heavy. But here's what you must remember: energy doesn't just come before movement, it is often created by it. When you move with intention, even if it's slow, even if it's brief, you generate momentum. You stir your circulation. You wake up your mitochondria, those tiny engines inside your cells responsible for vitality. And when you do this day after day, something magical happens. The fog lifts. The heaviness lightens. And walking becomes less about what you can't do, and more about what you still can. That shift alone can extend your lifespan, not just in years, but in moments worth remembering. Because the true danger of poor walking habits after 70 isn't just physical, it's psychological. It tells you, quietly, that decline is inevitable. That you are meant to shrink. That you should walk smaller, speak softer, take up less space. But I'm here to tell you, that is a lie. You are still allowed to move with dignity. With grace. With power. You are still allowed to be here, fully, completely, vibrantly here. Let your walk reflect that truth. Let every step be a declaration: I still have strength. I still have purpose. I still belong in this body, on this earth, in this life. And I will not walk as if I'm waiting to fade, I will walk like I'm learning to rise again. If you've made it this far, let this moment settle deep into your heart, because it means you still care, deeply, about the life that is unfolding before you. And that care? That willingness to learn, to adjust, to grow? It's a sign of strength far greater than youth. It's a strength born from wisdom, from decades of living, from loving, from loss, from joy and pain and everything in between. And now, with all that behind you and still more ahead, you deserve to walk in a way that reflects not just your age, but your awareness. You are not the same person who once sprinted across playgrounds or chased after buses. You are someone new, is still capable, still vibrant, but in need of a different kind of care. One that understands the third mistake that most people over 70 make when walking: ignoring recovery. Yes, recovery. Rest. Restoration. These words often sound passive, as if they belong to those who are giving up. But that's the lie we've been sold. The truth is, recovery is active healing. Every time you walk, your joints absorb impact. Your muscles tighten. Your ligaments stretch. Your cells work overtime to carry oxygen and remove waste. And when you finish your walk, the real magic begins, not during the exertion, but in the minutes and hours that follow. That's when your body recalibrates. It rebuilds what was strained. It strengthens what was challenged. but only if you allow it. And sadly, many seniors don't. They finish their walk, slump into a chair, and skip the cool down. They don't stretch. They don't hydrate. They don't take 5 minutes to breathe, to lie down with their feet elevated, to gently thank their body for showing up. This neglect doesn't just delay recovery, it compounds damage. Tight muscles stay tight. Minor aches become chronic. And slowly, a walk that was meant to heal begins to harm. But imagine instead if every walk ended with grace. With a slow, mindful stretch. A sip of water. A quiet moment with a warm towel on your knees or a soft pillow under your legs. Imagine if walking became not just a task, but a ritual, one that began with awareness, continued with variation, and ended with reverence. Your body, even now, would respond like a garden after rain. Softer. Stronger. More alive. And beyond the physical, let's go deeper into the truth that most won't speak aloud. Many people over 70 walk because they are afraid. Afraid of becoming irrelevant. Afraid of being forgotten. Afraid of slowly vanishing from a world that moves too fast, that values youth too highly, that doesn't always see the depth in a slower step. But my dear friend, let me remind you, every time you walk with presence, you remind the world that you still belong. That you are still here. That you are still worthy of being seen, and heard, and respected. You do not walk to prove your usefulness. You walk to reclaim your place in a world that desperately needs your wisdom. Your pace may be slower now, but your steps carry stories. They carry resilience. They carry lessons only life can teach. So yes, walking after 70 can shorten your lifespan if you walk without awareness, without variation, without recovery. But it can also lengthen your lifespan if you walk with care, with grace, with love. Let every step from this moment on be a conscious act of self-honoring. Don't settle for the bare minimum. Don't move out of obligation. Move out of devotion to this vessel you've been given. Whether you walk 5 feet or 5 miles, let it be filled with intention. And if you ever forget how powerful you are, how valuable your presence is, remember this: your heart is still beating. Your legs are still moving. Your lungs are still drawing breath. You are still here. And as long as you are here, your journey matters. Your health matters. You matter. So keep walking, but walk wisely. Not in fear, not in habit, not in silence. Walk with knowledge. Walk with dignity. Walk as someone who has nothing left to prove, but everything left to live for. And if no one else tells you this today, let this voice speak it to your soul: you are doing better than you think. Your best years don't have to be behind you. They can still unfold in front of you, or one steady, beautiful step at a time. So, before you take your next walk, pause. Not out of hesitation, but out of reverence. Because your steps, no matter how small or slow, are sacred. They are not just movement. They are proof that life still flows through you. They are proof that you still have purpose in this world. Don't let anyone, including yourself, convince you that your time is over. No. Your time is now. Your time is this breath. This step. This choice to rise from the chair, lace your shoes, and meet the world again, not as someone fading, but as someone becoming. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you've walked the same path for years without knowing what it was doing to your body. Maybe you've pushed too hard, or not hard enough. That's okay. Grace isn't earned by perfection, it's gifted to those who are willing to begin again. And today, you can begin again. You can walk differently. You can listen to your body more gently. You can slow down when needed, and stretch when you're done. You can add variety, awaken your senses, and retrain your balance. It's not too late. In fact, the beauty of being over 70 is that you no longer walk for speed, you walk for soul. You walk not to arrive, but to connect. To feel the wind. To notice the way light falls through trees. To pass by the faces of neighbors and know, even in silence, that you are still part of something greater than yourself. You walk not to chase the future, but to honor the present. And that, dear one, is the real gift of aging. It teaches you to find wonder in the ordinary. To slow down and still move forward. To be grateful not just for where you're going, but for the simple fact that you still can go. Every walk is an act of quiet courage. And that courage, that persistence, that resilience, becomes your legacy. So don't let fear rule your steps. Don't walk blindly, don't walk habitually. Walk intentionally. Walk with presence. Walk with knowledge that your body, even now, is listening. It is still learning. It is still adapting. And it is still capable of transformation. And if you ever feel alone on this journey, remember, there's a whole community walking with you. A family of elders, of seekers, of souls who still believe in healing, in movement, in the power of this moment. This journey doesn't end when the video fades. It continues every morning you rise, every evening you breathe deeply, every time you choose yourself over surrender. And we are here to walk beside you, every step of the way. This message, this movement, this deep and lasting care for your body and spirit, it lives here, with us, at Healthful Living 60+. Because we believe you're not just surviving your 70s, you're meant to thrive in them. And not just thrive, but inspire. Lead. Live richly, wisely, and fully. Your story isn't over. The best pages may be waiting right around the next corner. So keep walking, dear one. And walk with love. We'll be right here, cheering you on, always. This is Healthful Living 60+, your partner in every step.